While week 3 might not have the best games on tap, myself and Mr. Danny Domino are here to make sure you have your best bets actually for today in this weekend's action or on today's edition of Locked On Seminoles Pick Edition.
You are Locked On Seminoles, your daily podcast on the Florida State Seminoles, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome back to another edition of Locked On Seminoles Pick'em Edition. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Drake here, and today I'm joined by handicapper himself, Mr. Danny effing Domino. Danny boy, Danny boy, how's it going, my guy?
It's going pretty good, Drake. Happy to be here, all that good stuff. How you doing?
I'm doing well, but I do think you need to address the elephant in the room that last week you did give out the, what would you call it, the lock of a lifetime to
I did,
our listeners regarding Texas, Alabama.
Yeah, so I did give out the lock of a lifetime. It just didn't work out. It's like that engagement that doesn't work out. Sometimes you think it's there and it's not.
I'm recently engaged, man. That's some fighting words. I'm recently engaged.
You got your lock of the lifetime, buddy. That's what lost. You already have your lock of the lifetime.
Oh, so sweet.
So I do want to apologize. That was awful. Luckily for me, I had first quarter -6.5, and that was a sweat and a half. Thought they were going to review it right there on the end. But, yeah, I did not do well. I let you guys down, and I apologize from the deepest spot of my heart. You know what I did not lose, Drake?
What did you not lose?
Our odds at odds, which puts me for the year up 1-0. Thanks to Mr. Stoops and the Kentucky Wildcats. But hey, I don't want to bring up a sore subject, but
next week we'll do the full records reveal, because I'm pretty sure we're neck and neck at our release time. But you're right, you are at odds. You're 1-0 at our odds. Are at odds. So why don't we just go right off the rip? Let's get violent. Let's get violent really quick here, and let's talk about the game where me and you be a little bit different. I want to start with you first because this is an air raid team that you're backing this weekend. So I kind of want to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so Texas Tech catching double digits on the road at NC State. Absolutely love the Red Raiders here. Everyone knows NC State almost lost to ECU, but they got outgained by ECU. ECU missed 2 kicks, I believe, in the last 3 minutes of the game to either win or tie it. As I've said all offseason, I'm not big on this NC State team. I think they're good, but I think they're NC State good, which 9-4, if they're lucky, 10-3. This Texas Tech team, though, they proved a lot beating Houston. Houston is obviously better than ECU, in my opinion. I think Houston's one of the better Group of 5 teams out there, or non-Power 5 teams out there. And Texas Tech, with a backup quarterback, went in and beat them. This is the backup quarterback's second week starting in a row. Maybe third. I don't know if he started week 1 or not, but I do know he's the backup. But, I'm riding with the Red Raiders, and I'm going to double down on my statement. I don't think Houston's just better than ECU. I think Houston's better than NC State as well. So I'll gladly take catching double-digit points with the Red Raiders. Texas Tech +10, lock it in.
Yeah, here's my thing, Danny. You did say that the backup, I know Tyler Show, who was usually starting quarterback for Texas Tech, he's out. And the name has escaped me of the kid now, but he's going to be, I think it will be a second start. What's the problem when you're having a second start, Danny?
Teams have some film on you. Absolutely.
Teams have some film on you. And I know with ECU, people, I know that was one of the bigger plays that you had for that week, where ECU, I think, was a 11-point dog?
They were 12-point dog, yeah.
Yeah, 11 or 12-point dog, and they almost outright won the game. And quite honestly, they probably should have outright won that game.
Yes, absolutely.
But then NC State kind of woke up a little bit, beat Charleston Southern the week after 55-3, which Charleston Southern I know is a pretty bad FCS team. But if you're coming off a big letdown against ECU, typically you see bad teams or even average teams kind of like place lower down to their competition. To me, Devin Leary is still the truth. That defense with Corey Durden and Cyrus Fagan, Peyton Wilson, the linebacker,
Yep.
is the truth. That defense to me is going to be the main reason why they win this game. However, my one concern I will say is because last year we went against each other in this game because NC State based off of the godfather of the air raid, the father of the air raid, and that was Mike Leach. But I personally think that this game being at Carter Finley at night on Saturday is going to be a big game for them. And quite frankly, the thing was, this is the first night game that they actually have overall for the year. It's going to be loud. You already know Carter Finley's a hard place to play at. So to me, give me NC State -10, and they'll probably show you why they're the class of the ACC Atlantic.
Hey, I don't hate it. I understand why. We have different opinions on them, and my thing as well with this Charleston Southern, and I would love to see like a stat on it, but you wouldn't be able to pull it. A team with such high preseason expectations loses or should have lost a game, and then they sort of get like whipped around a little bit by the coaching staff, sort of, hey, let's focus up. Maybe you're not as good as you thought you were. Then you go out and beat a team 55-3. I think that can go one of two ways. Either, hey, this team, it is a senior-laden team. They are an old team. They can be like, hey, let's, get our stuff back together. Or does that sort of say, hey, we are what we thought we were. We're pretty good. Let's go, and we're going to roll in, and we're a double-digit favorite at home at a hard place to play at night. But man, I like this Texas Tech team, baby. I'm gonna ride with them.
Oh no, I think they're a good team.
I think against Houston, but
I know. I think they're a very good team, but I think NC State they also have the practice, and also if you remember that game last year from NC State and Mississippi State, they were kind of embarrassed. I mean, it was a 24-10 win. I think Will Rogers threw for about almost 300 yards. Even Devin Leary, I think, threw for more yards, but that defense kind of got outclassed overall. And I think that's when they lost. Cyrus Fagan actually was in that game. So to me, I just think overall, this is basically just comes down to NC State to me overall is the more talented teams, and they honestly probably are going to be the better coach team too as well. Let's go ACC. The boys are at odds with their odds. If you want to ride with Danny, go with the Red Raiders at +10, or with your boy, the member of Thick Boy Nation, NC State -10. Now, Danny, where are we up to next?
Let's you know what? I'm going to give a little stat bomb here. Real quick, these aren't official plays, but this is just something to get your mind going. Since 2005, teams that won as a 17 or more point underdog the previous week are 17-4-2 against the spread the following week when they're favored by 6 points or more. That's an 81% hit rate. It doesn't happen that often. Like I said, since 2005, there's only been 23 examples of it. 19 and 23 have either won or pushed. But luckily for us, we get 3 of those games this week. That is App State, that is Washington State, and that is We Are Marshall. So if you want to see a little something that stats, if you guys are stat trends based, definitely look at App State, Washington State, and Marshall for that one. But that's my stat bomb. We're just at odds with the odds. Why don't we go to something that the thick boys can agree on? And let's head up to Eugene, Oregon for my bankroll builder. Going with the BYU Cougars +3.5, probably about 140-ish on the money line.
I believe it was 145. I will double check for you really quickly, actually. But BYU was +3.5.
Man, BYU proved a lot to me against Baylor. I was on BYU there, but it's just because I thought everyone in the nation was on Baylor. So I was a little contrarian play here. Watched the game. They look good. They held Baylor to 290 yards on 80 plays, which is 3.6 yards per play. And that was in overtime. They only gave up 290 yards. That's impressive. I don't care who you're playing. And the other thing is they won that game going 3 of 14 on third down. So I'm looking at probably some positive regression there, even though it is against the Dan Lanning defense. And the big thing here, the elephant in the room, they might be getting their 2 starting wide receivers back. And if the rumor on the street is they could get one or both of them back, they beat Baylor without either of them. So I'm definitely expecting BYU to come out into Eugene and really throw a wrench in Dan Lanning and Kenny Dillingham's start to the season.
I really like that. I also like that because I think Jaron Hall is kind of showing everybody else that even without, Nakwa and also Romney as wide out options, he still showed out against Baylor. He showed out against USF, a team that you're supposed to beat, and also beat them terribly in the first week. And then also with Oregon, I have a very, very, very a man has to have a code when it comes to gambling. One of my many codes is to always fade Bo Nix. I call him Fade Nix at this point, to be quite honest with you. I am not the biggest fan of him. And then with Kenny Dillingham, as Florida State fans here, and also this being Locked On Seminoles, you saw the cute and kind of puzzling play calling against Georgia. And I think you'll see something similar when they actually do play over in Eugene. So for me, this is a great play, and it is our double down of the week. We're going to make some money off of this. We're going to ride with the Mormons. They're going to storm Eugene. We're going to go in there, unplug the Ducks, and come back home with the W.
Did you say unplug the Ducks?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I did.
Absolutely love that. Good for you, buddy. So we got odds and odds out of the way. We got bankroll builder out of the way. Let's make our way over to buyer beware.
Let's save the folks from themselves this week because I feel like we have there's a lot of games that actually have this kind of template. Let's give them at least one or two of these.
Okay, so the one I'm going to go in depth on, I'll say after this, I said in pre-recording, and I'm putting it on recording. If there's an upset this week, it will be the South Florida Bulls beating the Gators. The Gators just came off that demoralizing win where they did not look good. No one but Anthony Richardson looked good, and he didn't look good, so no one on that team looked good. Next week, they got their biggest rival in Tennessee starting SEC play. USF, like we talked about with BYU, that was a 17-point game in the third quarter. With BYU, I think is substantially better than Florida. So just saying that, watch out for that one, USF plus 24. And the other one that I'm really big on buyer beware here is the team that cost me last week, USC. Week one, like I said, they had 3 pick sixes against Rice, nearly unheard of. Last week against Stanford, they won by 13. The spread was 8.5. There's a very good reason to say they should have lost to Stanford. Stanford's first possession, they had a pick and gave a USC a 30-yard field. They had 2 red zone turnovers in the end zone, not even red zone. They threw a pick in the end zone, and they fumbled at the 2-yard line. So when you're looking at this, USC won, and they got Caleb Williams. I'm still rooting for your Heisman ticket. Jordan Addison is the truth. But that defense cannot keep causing timely turnovers like they do. Fresno State, Jake Haener, a veteran team. I fully think coming off that heartbreaking loss to Oregon State, fully think that they can go down to the Coliseum and outright beat the Trojans here.
Folks, the lines are all provided by our title sponsor. That's BetOnline. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to all related sports action. Currently, the line is for the USF game. It's UF minus 24. And then for USC, it is USC minus 12.5. And quite honestly, I think Fresno State at plus 12.5 is a very, very good play here, primarily because I do think Oregon State is actually a lot better than actually we kind of give them credit for. And also, like I said about principles, like I said about men having a code, one of my biggest things is seeing how former Power 5 quarterbacks excel and perform in the Group of 5 level. And Jake Haener is the staple and basically, to me, is the perfect candidate and perfect quarterback to actually see that fully in action. So it's a buyer beware, but your boy is going to buy Fresno State at plus 12.5. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see plus 13 at kick. Now, Danny, where are we off to next?
Well, the real question is here, are you participating in 6-shooter or not?
I am not participating in 6-shooter today. Well, I might think of one while you're going through it. How about that?
All right. Well, this is Locked On Seminoles, so I think it's a disgrace if we don't talk about them. So I'm going to go up to Louisville. I'm going to lay the 2.5 points. Listen, I'm bought in. I'm part of the climb, 1% each day. Louisville is historically, as every Seminole fan knows, playing at Louisville is awful. I don't think we have any good memories of it except for Ermon Lane's catch. But that's overshadowed by Lamar Jackson putting up 4,000 yards against us in 3 quarters.
Pretty much.
So I'm going here. I think this is one of those games where everyone sort of has like it's tough to play. Like in the Big Ten, somehow it's tough to play at Northwestern because you got to bring your own energy. It's a new kickoff. They're not a good team, but they always are there. They're sort of a heel for the Big Ten. For Florida State, that is Louisville. At Louisville, I'm taking it. I think Norvell's got the squad on the right path. I think that bye week was huge. And I'll lay the 2.5. Louisville got the big win against UCF, which I've never seen a Gus Smells on offense look like that. It was not good. I think Jordan Travis going back home to where he's been on record saying he's almost wanted to quit football between Louisville and his first year at Florida State because he wasn't enjoying it. I think he's going to show them how much he can enjoy it. I think he's going to go up deep on someone. I'm not going to name any names here. I think there's a certain Louisville DB who has a tendency to get beat deep or make stupid plays. No names.
Great at run stopping the run though.
Oh, absolutely.
Actually, I love that kick too.
I was on record multiple times saying he should have been nickel and let him cover tight ends, and that's it. But I think Florida State, I think they come out here. Not only do I think they win, I think this is a game where they could win and enjoy winning big.
Give me your prediction. I'll give you what I think about this game.
38-17 Noles.
That's really funny you say that. Primarily because I think we talked about this pre-recording. I think where the line's at right now, I lean the Noles. I actually think that this is probably the first time in a long time I'm confident we win this game. I just don't know by how much.
I also listened to you and Dave in the sauna right before we were recording this, and Dave got me pretty hyped up about how he feels confident, and normally he's not very optimistic. He got me pretty hyped up. So it got me 38-17 Noles.
Okay, I feel that. But I think it's more, to me, this is a game where if this opened at 3.5, I'm not going to lie to you, I probably would have taken Louisville plus 3.5 because I think this is going to come a game that's going to come down to the wire. I think Malik Cunningham, we're going to get more of the team that we saw against UCF. But there's something that, like a gut feeling I have that I wouldn't be surprised if at half, if we're only up by maybe 1 to 3 points. But this game, I see us winning by at least 10. And it's mainly because I think with Jordan Travis' leg and passing, and also Louisville at their rush defense, the rush defense success rate is 120th in the country. FSU's offensive rushing success rate is 5th. Yeah. To me, that just means a lot more. And then also for the DB, I would not be surprised if you see the first pass is Johnny Wilson or maybe even his old friend Otario Wilson, just a go route. Because I think that's how you know how to beat him. Because if you run towards him, he's going to stop you. This is a minus 2.5 that you lay it, but I wouldn't be. But it's something where I probably am not going to touch this game. But if you're a gambling man, I think we win by at least 10 or at least 3. But we're going to win this game, no doubt.
Their defense looked good against a one-dimensional quarterback. Last year, if I didn't see the development from Jordan Travis, I'd be a little more concerned. But I mean, I'm not saying Jordan Travis is C.J. Stroud, but I don't feel like when he drops back, it's going nowhere. So,
no, 100%.
But yeah, I'll take the Noles. I like him.
No, I agree with that. So, Danny, you got a 6-shooter for the crowd? Because I think I might have some for myself as well, too.
Ooh, yeah, I do. If we want to rock with it, I absolutely have a 6-shooter.
All right, Danny.
Absolutely.
I'm going to wait till it gets to the 25:05 mark on my counter, and then I'm going to let you go. Ready? Set. And you're off.
All right, so first I'm going to start out with Toledo plus 32. Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to have a great game, but it's not going to be enough to cover 32. Give me Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. Everyone who followed this last year knows my feelings on them. I think Indiana's a fraud, just like when they beat Illinois last week. Not scared. Western Kentucky off a bye. Give me the Hilltoppers plus 6.5. Old Dominion +9. I think Virginia is awful. Old Dominion's already beaten Virginia Tech. They might claim the state of Virginia here. Penn State -2.5. We are is better than War Dam. So give me the Nittany Lions here. Mississippi State LSU over 53. Both these teams average 40 points. I think Mike Leach welcomes Brian Kelly into the SEC in a good way. Georgia State -19. Charlotte's terrible. Georgia State love an average team against a bad one. Georgia State -19. Book it.
Under 58 seconds. 58 seconds. You got it. You got it.
I don't know if you can see
it.
my eyes here, but I just kept looking up like,
yeah.
You know me. Sometimes I like to ramble on every now and then.
I know it's perfectly fine, but folks, please head on over to BetOnline to place your bets and take the picks. And now, Danny, just give me a 5-second countdown, my guy. I got this. We got this.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Give me Western Kentucky +6 because Danny is right. The Hilltoppers are back, and Austin Reed is the passer that was promised. Shout out to Max for that call. Also, give me Ohio +18.5. Iowa State could barely play offensively against the Iowa team. Iowa's good defense. Iowa State, though, confirmed, has a terrible offense. Give me Old Dominion +8 and +250 overall because Danny has made me a believer in the Monarchs, and they're going to be ruling across the land. Also, give me Notre Dame -11. I think the change of quarterback with Drew Pine is a wonderful play overall for them. And also, lastly, Danny, you know what I really want to do?
Do it.
Give me Nevada, Iowa under 39 points. That's going to be some awful football, something that no one wants to watch. And that's going to be my 6th shooter for the day.
Man, you counted ODU money line as one of your 6.
That's my new play. That's my new play this year.
You like double dipping.
I love double dipping, folks. If you follow Duke, if you follow the 6 shooter last week, I had Duke spread, Duke money line, and the under. The under was saved by a fumble by the Northwestern running back. But hey, that's how we live and that's how we die every single week from gambling. Obviously, we talk about the Miami-TAMU game. If this was probably recorded a few days ago when the line opened, I would have told you like Miami +8. It's now +5. And then also, I really just don't want to root for anything that looks like orange. So that's just basically where I'm at right now.
Yeah. I refuse to say my opinions on this game on a recorded segment here. So I'm going to keep quiet. But one of the coaches is going to be on the hot seat, and it's not the first-year head coach.
No, especially the first-year head coach that probably has the school a little bit by the balls when it comes to his contract. And lastly, folks, take UTSA +12.5 because we're a Roadrunner show here. Meep in Texas. We saw what happens last year when a team that kind of punches above their weight class and loses a very close game with FSU against Notre Dame. Don't be surprised if you see a letdown spot here with Texas and an injured Hudson Card against UTSA, the crown jewel of the Conference USA Conference. But folks,
Florida against South Florida.
Oh, Lord. But Danny, thank you so much for joining me today. These lines were brought to you by always at BetOnline. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet all related sports action. Thick Boy Nation, stand up. And as always, folks, bet responsibly, play hard, and always have a good time. And take care, everybody.
Go Noles.